guys, good day and welcome to today on Princess Anu TV. Hope you are doing fine, great as always. So today we are going to be talking about the exact costs, as in the exact, like we're going to be doing the breakdown together, the exact cost of flight training from start, because it's not 30 million, it's not 40 million, it's not, I mean from when you buy your form till you leave flight school. And like you know, or in case you don't know me actually, my name is PrincessAnu and I'm a commercial pilot license holder with instrumental multi-engine, and I finished my training that some weeks ago, and I want to give you guys a total breakdown so that you have an idea of how much you are going to spend from the moment you buy that form till you're done with flight training. So I hope you can just come with your pen and paper so that as we are talking about it, you're going to be calculating. And there are just few things that I didn't actually mention. We're going to also look at the NCAT brochure. The brochure. I'm going to look at it and you're going to see the exact amounts they charge for these things. And I'm also going to show you a sample of your admission letter, how your admission letter is going to look like, so that you know, okay, these are the exact things that they want me to get, and these are the things that actually matter. So that's what we're going to be doing in today's video. Stay tuned, and if you've not subscribed, subscribe before I'm back. Thank you so much. So yeah, welcome back guys, and thank you so much for subscribing. Yeah, thanks for subscribing. The channel is all about aviation, motivation and adventure. So let's dive straight into what we have for today. So like you know, if you want to come to flight school in Nigeria or like anywhere, what you have to do first of all is for you to research about the flight schools that you want to come to. So let's assume you want to come to a flight school in Nigeria. We're going to be using NCAT as a case study because NCAT, that's the flight school I actually finished from. So we're going to be using NCAT as a case study. So now you want to come to NCAT. The first thing you're going to do is obviously you're going to buy a form. So how much now is the cost of that form you're going to buy? Online currently the cost of that form is 11,000 naira, not dollars. So the first thing, have 11,000 naira. So let's start our calculations. Now you have 11,000 naira for the form you're going to buy. The next thing is, when you buy that form, you're going to come for an interview, and once you pass the first stage of the interview and you pass the second stage of the interview, the next thing that is going to be happening is that you have to pay for your medicals. Your medicals, before it was cheaper, then I used to tell you guys, I actually paid 25,000 naira in my own time for medicals, but now it's no longer 25,000 naira. You're going to be paying for your first medicals, you're going to be paying about 50,000 naira. Now these are estimates I'm giving you. Don't pick me over, because sometimes 500 naira can be added, 1,000 naira can be added, but I'm just telling you how it is as of now that I'm making this video. So even if there are little changes that are going to come up, trust me, they are not going to be so large sum of money, like so large change. It's just going to be a minor change here and there. So you're going to be paying 50,000 naira now for your medicals. That's even during the evaluation process. The next thing is, when you come for that evaluation exam, you are going to obviously need some allowance for accommodation and feeding yourself, and also transportation from wherever you're staying to the school premises for the exam. So I'm going to leave that as an X. So now we have talked about 11,000 for the form, 50,000 for the medicals, and X for your allowance for transportation, feeding and accommodation, which you're going to be needing. So it depends on how large you eat or how small you eat, or the kind of accommodation you want. Do you want a very large room? Do you want to stay in an executive? You came for an exam, come on, just look for somewhere cool and comfortable, stay there and rush for your exam. I don't think you should be bothering so much about getting so much money for accommodation and all that, but make sure you eat well, don't eat junk, so that you don't come to the hall and start having issues. Anyways, that's by the way. So after your medicals, when you are giving the admission, you are going to be asked to pay some certain amount of money, and I'm going to just show you now on the screen a sample of an admission letter that is stated there. You're going to pay, okay, as at this time they were charging 7.5 million. That's the school fees that they were charging as at this time that I'm showing you this admission letter. And not only that, about the school fees, there are also some included charges, recent charges that they've added, which is English proficiency which you can see there, 150,000, and you also need to buy your flight kits, which is, I'm going to say, approximately 250,000. So hope you are doing this calculation with me. If you're not math gurus, that's why I said come with your pen and paper and make sure you're doing this calculation with me, because this is where you will know the exact amounts that you're going to be spending, and it's going to give your parent or your guardian or your sponsor a rough idea of how much you are going to spend. So do well to share this video with your parents, your guardians, people that you want them to pay your school fees, so that they get to understand the breakdown of every single thing. That's why I'm actually making this video. I wish someone made this video in my time. Like, I wish. Anyways, that's why Princess Anu is here for you. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Okay, let's go. The next thing, after you pay your flight, for the flight kits, you pay your school fees, and you pay, but my own time, my admission letter did not carry 7.5 million. It carried more than that. But let's leave that. Now we're not talking about my own time, we're talking about now, what's happening now. So the next thing is, after you pay for your flight kits, that medicals that you have done in your evaluation exam is going to comprise of your SPL. That medicals that they are going to use to give you an SPL license. So you don't have to pay for an SPL license. That, in case you don't know the meaning of SPL, I'm saying a student pilot license. You don't have to pay for a student pilot license. That's medicals you've done is what is going to make them give you your SPL license. So that is free. The next phase is when you're done with SPL, that you're using your SPL to fly, you are going to get a PPL license, which is a private pilot license. You don't need to pay anything during that process, but there's an X I want you to also add to your calculation, and that X is your allowance that your parents will give you. Maybe to buy clothes, maybe to buy shoes, maybe to buy your uniform, maybe to buy a very good wristwatch, and because you need a very good wristwatch to fly, you don't want something that's going to mess you up on like airborne. So what else? Like just basic things that you need, perfume, like basic necessities. You know what you need. I do not know. You know what you need. I'm just calling some few things that I know I always need and all that. So put X there. It depends on the kind of allowance. Your parents can decide to give you 50k per month. They can decide to give you 100k per month. They can even decide to give you 5k per month, because NCAT is going to be feeding you, and they're also going to be accommodating you because you paid for that in your school fees. So whichever extra money that you're giving is just for like your upkeep, like just extra other things. The main things have been taken care of, like we know the necessities of man, shelter and all that, feeding and clothing. So those ones have been taken care of. So now the next thing you're going to be doing is your night rating. Like I said, when you come for your PPL, when you come from SPL, you're going to get a PPL license. From the PPL license, when you've gotten a PPL license, the school is going to send you for night rating. Night rating, you're not going to be paying for it. You're not going to pay for anything because it's already included in the school fees, but you are going to be given an allowance from the school. So now it's not you getting the money. The school is going to give you a certain amount of money as allowance for your night rating if you're going to be doing it out of base. When I mean out of base, I'm like, if you're not going to be doing, for instance, you're training in Zaria, you're not going to be doing your night rating in Zaria, you're going to be doing it in Kanu. Like me, I did my night rating in Kanu. So the school paid us some amount of money for us to have accommodation and feeding during the period of our night rating. But trust me, that money will not be enough. So you will need your parents to like add some little money on top of the money that the school has given you for you to be able to feed well and have a very the accommodation is going to be fine, because all of you are going to be staying in one hotel, like in the same hotel. So you can decide, okay, both of you want to rent you want to stay in a room. If it's lady, guy, you guys can like share a room and all that. But if you want to stay alone, good and fine for you. If you have the money to do that, good and fine. So that's why another X that you should add to our whole bunch of calculations. So that is going to depend on you. It's going to depend on you, but you're not going to pay anything. The next phase is CPL. For the CPL, because when you come back from night rating, you start your hour building and all. Trust me, you need some little amount of change. Let's also leave that X, because these things are not compulsory, but they are necessary. The ones that are compulsory are the definite figures I'm going to be giving. You need some amount of just little allowance and all that for you to be able to not like in case you land in an airport and you're hungry, you can at least buy a drink or buy something like when you land in an airport when you're doing your hour building. And again, in case of emergency, you need airtime on your phone, you just basic things that you need to like keep yourself comfortable. So after that, the moment you're done with your CPL, you know you're going to do your instrument and your multi-engine. You're also not paying anything for the instrument and multi-engine phase, but you are likely going to buy some few things. E.g., you are going to buy an instrument flight board. I really don't know whether it's included in flight kit, but sometimes I think they include it in flight kit. But in case it's not included, you will need to buy that, which should not cost more than, let's say it shouldn't cost more than 5,000 or 7,000. Let's say around that range. So add that to your list. It shouldn't cost more than 5,000, 7,000. So after that, when you're done with your flight training, if you don't want to do your medicals in the school premises, like let's say you have gone out of the school premises because you're going to need a class 1 medicals. You know, when you came into the school, you were using a class 2. Now for you to get a class 1 medical, you need to do the whole medicals again. So when you do the whole medicals again, you are going to be paying another 50,000 because it's a fresh medical that you're going to be doing. So guys, I want you to run down and look through our analysis. You're going to be seeing that we have amounted to something close to 8 million. Let's say approximately 8 million, because when I did my own calculations, you're going to be having 7,961,000 plus X plus X plus X. And these X's, don't forget what they are. These X's, number one, are transport allowance when you're coming for your the evaluation exam. The next X is monthly allowance for your 2 years you're going to be staying in flight school, or 2 years plus, depending on how much your parents want to give you. It depends on them, or a sponsor wants to give you. It depends on them. And another X is night rating allowance. Your parents might have to like top up the money that school has school is going to be giving you, so you need to top up that. And apart from that, I don't think there's any other X. Any other X would be maybe anything you want to buy for yourself that you know you need money for, that you can add up. So guys, this is the exact amount you're going to be spending during your flight training. I hope this video has helped you, seriously, because I think about it, like, people don't really know how much. And I want to give an advice for you, in case you don't have this 8 point something million, or because it's not 30 million, it's not 40 million, it's not 20 million. So so how much exactly is it? So you are just going to say it's like 8 million plus some maybe little change around the corner. That's where you're going to be. So if you don't have the money completely, I'm going to advise you to start with what you have. Even if you have half of the money, please start. When you start along the line, by God's grace, God is going to provide money. I really trust in God so much. I'm sorry about that, but if you don't like me for that, good luck. But I trust in God so much, because it's not easy sometimes, especially maybe if your parents are not so buoyant, or maybe if you don't really have everything figured out for yourself. It's not really easy to get this amount of money. But if you trust in God, He's capable of providing this money for you, and even much more. So this is all I have for you on today's video. You know, this is the current cost. So guys, till I catch you next time, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and if you've not subscribed, subscribe. Bye guys.